Pressure's growing on the Trump administration to release video of a U.S. airstrike on September 2nd that killed 2 men who were left shipwrecked in the Caribbean after an earlier U.S. strike on the vessel that killed 9 people. The Trump administration claims all the passengers on the boat were involved in drug trafficking, but offered no proof. CNN's reporting that Admiral Frank Mitch Bradley told lawmakers last week the boat planned to link up with another larger vessel that was bound not for the United States, but for Suriname. On Sunday, Democratic Representative Adam Smith of Washington State spoke to ABC News.
There were 2 survivors on an overturned boat, and Senator Cotton's description of it is simply not accurate. When they were finally taken out, they weren't trying to flip the boat over. The boat was clearly incapacitated. A tiny portion of it remained, capsized the bow of the boat. They had no communications device. Certainly they were unarmed. Any claim that the drugs had somehow survived that attack is hard to really square with what we saw. So it was deeply disturbing. It did not appear that these 2 survivors were in any position to continue the fight.
Congressman Adam Smith's comments came a day after Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth spoke at the Reagan Library at the Reagan National Defense Forum in Simi Valley, California. He defended the strike on the shipwrecked men and was questioned about releasing the strike video.
So, Mr. Secretary, you will be releasing that full video?
We are reviewing it right now.
Is that a yes or no?
That is, the most important thing to me are the ongoing operations in the Caribbean with our folks that use bespoke capabilities, techniques, procedures in the process. I'm way more interested in protecting that than anything else. So we're reviewing the process and we'll see.
Hegseth's comments contradict President Trump, who was questioned about releasing the video last week.
Mr. President, you released video of that first boat strike on September 2nd, but not the second video. Will you release video of that strike so that the American people can see for themselves what happened?
I don't know what they have, but whatever they have, we'd certainly release, no problem.
Since September, the Pentagon struck at least 22 boats in the Caribbean and the Eastern Pacific. We're joined now by Reed Brody, war crimes prosecutor, member of the International Commission of Jurists, and author of the book To Catch a Dictator, The Pursuit and Trial of Hissène Habré. Welcome back to Democracy Now!,
Amy.
Reed. Are these war crimes?
Well, if this was a war, they would be war crimes. But because it's not a war, it's murder. I mean, in order to have a war, you need to be actually fighting against either another country or an organized armed group. And there has to be a level of conflict such that it is an armed conflict. President Trump has taken a metaphor, the war on drugs or the war against narcos, and tried to convert it into an actual war. But, you know, that's no more valid than saying, OK, we're fighting a war on corruption so we can target alleged insider traders, or we're fighting a war on disinformation so Trump can bomb the BBC. I mean, let's remember that this is a law enforcement operation. The United States can make drug smuggling a crime, as we have. We can interdict these people. We can bring them to the United States. We can prosecute them. If they're found guilty, they go to jail. What we can't do, however, is just go around the world dropping bombs on ships and on people without any evidence of any wrongdoing, without any trial, and without any evidence that they are posing a threat to anybody.
Let me go back to Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth speaking at the Reagan National Defense Forum at the Reagan Library in California.
The days in which these narco-terrorists, designated terror organizations, operate freely in our hemisphere are over. These narco-terrorists are the al-Qaeda of our hemisphere, and we are hunting them with the same sophistication and precision that we hunted al-Qaeda. We are tracking them, we are killing them. And we will keep killing them so long as they are poisoning our people with narcotics so lethal that they're tantamount to chemical weapons.
Reed Brody.
Look, right now as we speak, the former president of the Philippines, Rodrigo Duterte, is facing trial at the International Criminal Court in The Hague for doing exactly what President Trump and Secretary Hegseth have done, killing suspected drug dealers without due process. What we are doing here is murder on the high seas. If these were if these crimes were being committed in the territorial waters of a country that was a party to the International Criminal Court, the prosecutor could actually bring charges against Donald Trump, Pete Hegseth, and all the people down the chain of command for extrajudicial, not for war crimes because it's not a war, but for murder, for extrajudicial executions.
So let me ask you, this happening at the same time last week that President Trump pardoned and released Juan Orlando Hernandez. Now, Juan Orlando Hernandez, the former president of Honduras, was found guilty in a U.S. court. His brother had been found guilty a few years before. His brother sentenced to life in prison. Juan Orlando Hernandez sentenced something like 45, 46 years in prison in a U.S. jail for trafficking cocaine into the United States, using all the levers of the power of the state as president, the military, the police, and facilitating cocaine coming into this country. And quoted in the trial were those who said, we are going to stuff cocaine up the noses of those gringos.
Yeah, I mean, look, these strikes are crimes within an illegal operation in the service of what is really a hoax. I mean, if President Trump was concerned about drugs, I mean, Venezuela accounts for a very small portion of drugs coming into the United States. I mean, most of the fentanyl and other drugs come in on land routes through Mexico, et cetera. I mean, this is no more a war on drugs than, sending National Guard into democratic cities is about fighting crime. Or, attacking free speech on campuses is about, protecting from antisemitism. I mean, they're just making this stuff up. And basically they're forcing the debate into, their own terms.
So finally, is Trump trying to trigger a Venezuelan Gulf of Tonkin, an excuse for the U.S. to invade Venezuela, the country with the largest oil reserves in the world?
Look, I've got no truck for Nicolas Maduro. I mean, this is a man who stole elections, who crushes dissent and everything. But what it does appear to be is all of this is a pretext. We're bullying. This is a psychological operation. I don't know that Trump and the MAGA base will actually go in guns a-blazing to Venezuela. But I think that this is not about drugs. I think this is about bullying and intimidating the Venezuelan government.
Reed Brody, thanks so much for being with us. War crimes prosecutor, member of the International Commission of Jurists, author of the book To Catch a Dictator, The Pursuit and Trial of Hissène Habré. To see our interview on that book, go to democracynow.org. Thanks for watching Democracy Now! On YouTube. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to make sure you never miss a video. And for more of our audience-supported journalism, go to democracynow.org, where you can download our news app, sign up for our newsletter, subscribe to the daily podcast, and so much more.